On the agenda tonight, we're going back to 1999. We're going to be taking a look at Eric Clapton, and he's going to be performing Layla. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, I think this one was inevitable, considering the fact that we've just looked at Eric performing the unplugged version of Layla, and a lot of people have requested that we take a look at a performance that's a little bit more true to the original release. So we're going to look at this performance from 1999. This is quite a long performance as well. I think it's about 8 minutes, so I'm probably going to jump into it at some point, and if you want to watch it the whole way through without me interrupting it, as always, there's a link in the description below. But let's get into it and see how Eric gets on. And I'm just going to jump in there. As we did have on that previous video, we've got the pitch monitoring software up on screen. We can see that it just cut out there because that is the end of the vocal section. We're very much just going to be continuing on with the solo and then into the piano breakdown, and we'll talk about that at the end of the video. But, I mean, this is very much true to the original record when it's released, and you can see the way that Eric at the end there starts off that solo very much in the vein of the solo that Duane Allman did on that original with the slide. And of course it's going to sound different when you're fretting the notes instead of using a slide, but that really did add so much to the original record. So I've taken it back to the beginning of the video so that we can appreciate Eric's vocal, something that I did mention in that other video about people really just focusing on his guitar playing, and it really does fly under the radar how great a vocalist Eric is. And in this performance we don't have it auto-tuned either, so we can appreciate it. And I love the way that he just keeps this all in chest voice and belts it to get all of that emotion and expression in there. But let's get into it again. And straight off the bat we have this G sharp 4. So, I mean, we are way up there in the male tenor range. When we're talking about that G sharp 4, if you look over to the piano, you'll be able to see that we've got ranges. And when I say the top end of the male tenor range, you'll see that the A4 is right at the top there. So it means that the G sharp 4 is the same as the A flat 4. So it means that we are at this note right up then. He's belting this in chest voice, and it's the beginning of the verse. There's nowhere really to rest vocally throughout this whole song. I just want to point out as well that when you're performing live and you've had an extended intro like this, coming in on pitch is really difficult because you haven't had any vocal yet to find where you are, to, you know, hear your voice through the fold back and start to adjust it. And Eric just comes in straight on pitch. Have another listen. What do you do? And there's even a little slide in there when he goes, what do you do? And he kind of goes down and goes back up. So it's really impressive from that point of view. You will see other performers where they start out and they might be a little bit flat, might be a little bit sharp, and then ease their way into the melody of the song, but their pitch overall. But Eric is just spot on here. And as we go through, we'll have a listen. And we can see that we are slightly sharp of this E4, but this is what a natural vocal will look like without being auto-tuned. We're not straight on lines here like we were with that other video. There we go, and there's a little example of that change in melody. He isn't really making any concessions. There's that occasional change in melody, which is really cool because it gives this live performance a standalone quality, and that's what you get with great performers live. They will change it up and give you something on that one night that is unique that you didn't get on that original record. So I do like these changes in melody, and when he gets into that chorus, he's not, kind of taking a back seat or letting up. He's still belting out these notes in chest voice throughout the chorus. We're just going to have a quick listen through to the isolated vocal just higher in the mix, or should I say, I'm going to take the backing down, because with great vocalists it doesn't really matter at what level their voice is at, it always sounds great, and that is the case here. Have a listen. What do you do when you get lonely? I was waiting by your side. You've been hiding much too long. You know it's just your foolish pride. Got me on my knees, begging, darling, please, darling, won't you ease my worried mind? Trying to give you consolation, young man, I let you down. Like a fool, and I'm loving with you. Now the whole world upside down. So I'm just going to jump in there. I mean, I could listen to the whole song just with that change in level of the vocal, because it just gives you such a great indication of Eric's voice live, and he's playing at the same time, and he's hitting all of these notes that, yeah, most guys are going to be struggling to hit, but he's hitting it with consistency, control, and you'll hear these little tail offs that he has vocally where he'll just change the melody and have almost a throwaway line like you would on guitar. And this is the thing about Eric Clapton being such a great guitarist. It means that his voice that he sings with is the same as the one that he plays with, so all of these little lines that he tails off he'll do on his guitar as well. So we've got to get the guitar out because we did in the other video, but this is such an iconic riff, and there was a little bit of a lead into this. I started the video pretty much where the band come in, and I love the way that Eric starts with that and kind of plays that, I mean the riff, which everybody knows, and then just allowing that fifth, the D5, pretty much. He's not going through that whole D minor chord, you know. He's just letting that fifth ring out, which is really cool. You listen to the bass. This isn't going to be an instructional video, but we'll look at the intro riff as well. I mean, it's such a great call and response, but I mean, just such a great line in itself, the melody of it. But I know that a lot of people will be playing that with hammer-ons and pull-offs. That's probably what Eric's doing here. I'm just wondering whether there might be an extra pick in there. But anyway, we've got this. I'm kind of going up, down, down, up, pull off, down, up. So I'm doing a bit of economy picking there. It sounds like, I'm probably just imagining it, but it sounds like Eric's putting in more picks than just going like that. Yeah, anyway. And, you know, everybody knows the notes. Something that surprises me in this performance is that they do have the two guitars, so it means that they can, you know, play different lines if they want to, and that's something that I mentioned in other videos about maybe playing different chord voicings, all that kind of stuff. But on the original record, you have the lead vocal, and you have the lead guitar, which is also in the mix, just playing separate lines in the background. And I'm surprised that they didn't do that, because Eric's playing the chords, and at some points the second guitar is playing the same as Eric's playing, whereas I would love to hear those lines in the background, the lead lines. But, I mean, in the first verse, it's understandable that you might want to hold back dynamically and maybe not put it in there. So I've just taken it back because I'm going to roughly busk along with the song to show the leads, or these aren't going to be the actual notes, but the kind of feel that is missing. Yeah, and that is a busk along, but you kind of get the idea that you're so used to, on the original, hearing a lead line going on, and when it's not there, you do kind of miss it, or at least I miss it. I'm looking at this in real detail, and the kind of things that I would love to hear. We're not going to be going through all of the lead work here, but something that I want to point out about Eric's fundamental technique, the way that he applies his vibrato is unique. He's just playing the guitar his own way, and he's worked out his own way of doing it, but we'll have a look at it and then I'll point it out. So I'm just going to stop it there. We do have these bends, and we're bending from 15 to 17 on the high E, but the notes don't really matter here. What he's doing is when he's playing and he's applying his vibrato, he isn't doing it like I'm doing it. He actually totally disengages from the fretboard with his hand, because you'll see his thumb being over the top And then when he applies vibrato, his hand is now free, effectively, to move up and down. It's great to have a look at it in this detail to see how he achieves it. It's literally, as soon as he applies vibrato, the thumb comes back to give him a little bit more freedom. So when you're looking at a guy like Eric Clapton and you're looking at technique, he's the prime example of just playing your own way. Also, he does that on the main riff. So when he's playing that, he's actually disengaging. He's actually got the thumb up all the time. And I'm not sure whether you can kind of see it clearly here, but he's playing it like that to leave himself the option of that first bar to play that vibrato. Just to finish off this video, we'll listen to the piano section at the end. Actually sounded like we had a little bit of this, you know, just fading in notes, and that's just using a little finger to just roll your volume on and then off to get that kind of sound. But anyway, I mean, it's just something that's cool to throw in there because it's just going to blend so well with the piano because it's so understated now. It's all about bringing the dynamics down and, you know, not just, you know, going for it and going, you know, and being over the top. You want the piano to take center stage. Now, getting into the piano, this is something that is controversial, and you can look this up on YouTube if you want to, but my understanding of it is that Rita Coolidge actually wrote this, and it was a song originally that was on a demo that she took to the studio to, you know, play to everyone, or effectively to take your demo to maybe have that song made into a song for the band to then play. But it didn't materialize into anything, and you can look up on YouTube Rita being interviewed about this, because she says that she left her demo tape just on the piano there and went home, and then the next thing that she heard, or the next time that she heard her composition, was at the end of Layla. So this piano section was on her demo, and then she tried to call up or find out what was going on, expecting the royalties to come through because they'd used her piano from her demo tape that she left with them. But yeah, it turns out that it was a door that was closed and she didn't get any credit for that. And she certainly expected to see her name on the record when it was released, in, you know, at least having a credit on there. But she didn't. She didn't receive any royalties, never did, and never has since. But, I mean, it's such a monster hit to have such an essential part of the song, that original release, this piano section just takes it to a totally different place. And they did actually release it without the piano section on there, and I think that might be a bit of an admission that you know, trying to get rid of the whole problem. But then, as you can see here, in 1999 they still have it in there. But I mean, you guys can do your own research on the internet about it. It's just that when I see Rita talking about this, it doesn't seem to me like she's making this up. It does seem genuine that she did write this, and that, yeah, everything is as she said it was. And it very much rings true because of her relationship with the management and not getting on with them, and then literally closing the door in her face, and that's just the way it happened. But not getting on with people isn't an excuse to take somebody's intellectual property and then make money from that and then not receive anything for it. But at the end of the performance there is a really cool saxophone solo. It's all really tastefully played. We've got a little bit of lead work going on that's, you know, understated, and you really do get this relaxation at the end of the song, which is exactly where this piano takes you. But if you guys want to watch it the whole way through, as I said at the beginning, the link is in the description below. We're going to be calling it to a close now because this video has probably gone on for years already. But thank you guys for requesting this particular performance of Layla for me to take a look at, and keep those suggestions and requests coming in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!